So very clearly now the focus remains on the three important snans on the 3rd of February, which is Basant Panchami, the Maghi Purnima on 12th of February and mahashivratri on the 26th of February. What's equally important, of course, is the significance of the Akhadas and the snan of the Akhadas and the role of Naga Sadhus. Many don't know much about the importance and significance of Naga Sadhus in the Sanatan Dharam. And India Today's Akshata Nandagopal now explains why Naga Sadhus have been extremely important in preservation of our culture and the Sanatan way of life, especially when the odds were very high.
The Maha Kumbh is on, and you've seen countless images of the Naga Sadhus at the Kumbh, and so many questions loom around them. Where they come from, how they became Naga Sadhus. Let's tell you all about these mysterious sadhus. First, the most basic question: who is a Naga Sadhu? They are worshippers of Lord Shiva who believe in becoming Shiva to worship him. Naga Sadhus have existed for centuries. Evidence dates back to the Mohenjo-daro civilization. Naga Sadhus were also known to have fought off Mughals to protect temples and were armed then with trishuls and talwars, with swords, which is why even today you see many Naga Sadhus coming armed to the Kumbh. Naga Sadhus essentially renounce all worldly pleasures, so they're celibate, they don't own any material wealth, not even clothes. Naga Sadhus can cover their bodies with ash and nothing else. He cannot have a shika, which is a tuft of hair which Brahmins usually have. He can only keep his hair braided. They eat once a day. They have to sleep on the ground without any material that separates them from the soil. So let's tell you now how a person becomes a Naga Sadhu. It's a long process and interestingly happens during the Kumbh. First, a person becomes a sannyasi by renouncing all worldly attachments, including their parents. And this is done by performing the pinddan to their family and themselves. Pinddan is essentially a ritual performed usually at funerals for departed souls. So with this, the sannyasi establishes that he has no family anymore, and even his own identity as it was previously has perished. Now for about 12 years, the sannyasi then is closely monitored, works actively in the akhada that he's chosen. The akhada head usually decides who will be elevated to become a Naga sannyasi. At the Kumbh, the process is kicked off between the two snans, the Amrit Snan on Makar Sankranti and the Snan on Moni Amavasya. First, the sadhu takes the holy dip on Makar Sankranti, and then just before Moni Amavasya, the initiation begins. A special puja is conducted at midnight in the presence of their gurus. The sannyasis are expected to take 108 dips in the Ganga at midnight in the cold. And after this, half of their braid, which is called the shika, is cut off. After this, they're sent away from the akhada to a forest to do penance. The other seers then will persuade them to return. On the third day, they return without the clothes. The final stage, essentially, of shedding everything they own. When they return, they meet with the Acharya Mahamandaleshwar of the Akhada, essentially the head of the Akhada. The Naga Sadhu offers water cupped in his hand to the Akhada head, and if it's accepted, it means he's formally become a Naga Sadhu. On Moni Amavasya, they are then allowed to take a holy dip with all the other Naga Sadhus. Right now, around 12,000 ascetics will be made Naga Sadhus in different Akhadas. There are also many sannyasis who have begun the journey towards becoming Naga Sadhus by tonsuring their head and taking a dip in the Ganga. But they'll have to wait another 12 plus years before becoming Naga Sadhus. So now the question everyone asks, where do Naga Sadhus reside? We see them come in the thousands for the Kumbh every few years, but there's no real evidence of where they come from. Most Naga Sadhus reside in the Himalayas, and they walk all the way to the Kumbh, starting weeks or even months before the Kumbh from the mountains. Some Naga Sadhus are known to live in the Akhadas, which is based in different parts of the country. At the Kumbh, Naga Sadhus are the first ones to take the holy dip during the Amrit Snan. It's a sacred ritual for them, and devotees also throng the Kumbh to take blessings from these Naga Sadhus.